What up, y'all? Star Wars Steph here, and we're going to be taking a look at the top 4 from our Tabletop Village Star Wars Unlimited constructed tournament this past Wednesday. So this was a 14-person tournament. It was the first tournament at our store, which was really, really cool, besides our pre-release. And yeah, 14 people showed up, and it was a blast. It was 3 rounds, best of 3, 55 minutes, and yeah, this is the top 4. Very interesting top 4. A little bit different, so you'll see some similarities to the online meta that we're seeing, and a couple of decks that are a little bit different. So the first place deck was this Vader Blue deck. This deck actually seems very, very interesting to me because it can combine some of the strongest units in the game, such as Death Trooper, Fifth Brother, this Imperial Interceptor, Palpatine, with some of the best events of the game. So we have Vanquished, obviously, Takedown, Power of the Dark Side, and then you also combine that with something like with different events like Force Choke and Open Fire. It can get very interesting very, very fast. So just running through the deck real quick, we got 2 Force Throw. Your opponent discards a card from their hand, or you discard a card from your hand, and you're going to deal damage to a unit equal to its cost. Pretty good. Ty Ellen Fighter, this is great for triggering Vader's effect. We have the Infernal 4. This is good just for kind of cycling through your deck. There's not a lot of draw in this game, so making sure that you're looking at the top 2 cards of your deck and seeing if you want them or if you want to cycle them to the bottom is going to be very, very important. First Legion Snow Trooper. Really, really good because if it attacks into a damaged unit, which synergizes very well with Death Trooper, it gains +2 and has Overwhelm. Force Choke, which is going to be a great removal card. We're going to do 5 damage to a unit, and if you control a Force unit, it actually costs 1 less. They do draw a card, but I'm pretty sure that taking something off of the board that has as high as 5 health is going to be very, very important. I find very interesting this single Snow Trooper Lieutenant. Now, I think they're using this as a late game push for more damage on a base that might be, or that might seem out of range for an attack. Especially if you don't play one all game and then you drop this, that's just going to be extremely, extremely strong. Next, we have 3 of the Viper Probe Droid. Now, this card's very, very good in Star Wars Unlimited as it gives you access to your opponent's hand. And seeing their hand is going to be vital just to know what's coming, what I'm going to play around. Is my opponent going into space? Is my opponent going on the ground? Etc. Death Trooper, like I said, synergizes with the First Legion Snow Trooper. It also synergizes very well with the Fifth Brother, as it puts damage on the Fifth Brother, so that when this thing's about to attack, it's going to swing for quite a bit of damage. As long as you're timing this right, it can be very, very good. Another reason Death Trooper is super good is because it comes in and deals damage immediately. So essentially it ambushes for 2, but once again, you have to do 2 to another unit, which is fine if you're doing that to your Fifth Brother. Next up, we have some of these very strong events. Like I was saying, Power of the Dark Side, your opponent chooses a unit they control and defeat it. Another one, we're going to just deal 4 damage to a unit. Really, really good. Very important key word on some of these Star Wars Unlimited cards are going to be the Sentinel effect. So that's going to stop your opponent from attacking your base. They have to target this instead, whatever holds Sentinel for the turn. 3 Cell Block Guard for that, and 2 System Patrol Craft. Also, they're running this one Academy Defense Walker, which is actually really, really good. It also has a on-play effect, which I can't remember what it does. Oh, give an experience token to a friendly unit, which that's pretty good too. It has 5/5 and it's Sentinel. You give something an experience token. And experience tokens, actually, I've been noticing do a lot for math on your opponent's side of on the field. They might have a plan lined up, a couple of plays that they are trying to make, and yeah, you give that experience token, it could really mess it up. One of the best and my favorite in the game space unit is definitely going to be Imperial Interceptor. Once again, it's just like Death Trooper. It's going to come in swinging, right? It's a card that comes in and does something immediately. And in an action-based game, that's going to mean a lot because that means this card is getting value immediately, and then also if it lives on subsequent turns, it's going to be getting value as well. Gideon Hask, super duper strong, a 5/5/5. Like a lot of these cards that are like 3/3/3s or 4/4/4s, I feel like are relatively like highly statted, just for what it is. Because a lot of times we won't see the health in the attack pretty much double up what the cost of the card is. So yeah, I feel like that's very, very strong. Next up, we have Vanquish, another one of these removal events, and that's pretty much what all the events do in this deck. So it's combining control with aggro, which I think is really, really amazing. We're going to round it out with the Ruthless Raider and Palpatine. Palpatine has unlimited power, so why wouldn't you play him? Yeah, being able to do Overwhelm, and then when played, being able to sprinkle 6. Once again, it's one of those cards that comes into play and has an immediate impact on the game. And that's pretty much actually what a lot of these cards are doing. So this Vader Blue deck is, once again, like I said, very interesting. Looking in the side deck, I think we have more ways. This is going to be for aggro. The Stormtroopers, as you can put it into play, it has a high attack, and they're going to really need to actually swing into it to deal with it, or else you're going to be doing a ton of damage to their base. Next up is going to be Vader's Lightsaber, one of my favorite cards. Put it on Vader, and like he does 4 immediately to a unit. Like another card that comes in and has an effect. More side deck cards for removal. This is kind of a removal card. It's going to give -2 to 2 and 2. So -2 health, -2 attack to a unit, and you heal 2 from your base. So that's super good. Probably for the aggro matchup as well. This card's technically a pseudo removal card if when played correctly. Bombing Run. This card's interesting to me. Do 3 to each unit in an arena, if I remember correctly. So either space or ground. Pretty good. Yeah, and then Count Dooku. This is just a deck full of cards that do something immediately when it's played. Amazing. I like this. I like this deck a lot. Looking at the math by cost, we have a 15 3-cost cards, 10 2-cost cards, 5 1-cost cards, more than usual 4-cost. What I've noticed is a lot of decks aren't using these 4-cost cards because on your 4th resource turn, you want to be dropping like a 2-2 or a 3-1 in order just to maximize your card advantage. But this deck obviously plays a little bit different. 5 at 5, 6 at 3. Or sorry, 3 at 6 and 3 at 8. So yeah, this is the pie chart broken down pretty well. And 0 upgrades, another interesting thing to notice when we are taking a look at these cards. Or sorry, these decks. So that was first place. I really actually like that deck just because after going through and looking at it, yeah, just every card has an immediate impact on the game when it is played. And that's going to be really important. Next up is going to be Tower number 9s. Now, Tower number 9 wasn't at the tournament, but Tower number 9, if you want to come on down to Seattle, Washington, come on over to Tabletop Village. You know what I'm saying? Come play in our Star Wars Unlimited tournament. I would not mind. All right. But anyways, yeah, somebody asked for a deck list in the Discord, and somebody popped this in there, and the person was like, I asked them what deck they ran, and they said it was the item list, the red item list that was put into the Discord. So once again, just red and blue, right? Red and blue, combining very strong events with a bunch of units that do stuff immediately when they're played. So running through the deck list real quick. Death Stormtrooper, more Inferno Wars, the Regional Governor. So this card's really, really good if you have access to your opponent's you have to know the meta pretty much. If you have access to your opponent's list, which you will, which is very interesting actually for actual competitive play at higher levels, you will have access to your opponent's deck list. So Regional Governor is going to become a pretty important card moving forward. Force Choke, which we do have some Force units in here, but that doesn't matter. We'll pay it. We'll pay the 2 costs for it as once again it is removal at a pretty high rate for the cost. So pretty much doing 5 damage to a unit for paying 2. Amazing. We have the Snowtrooper Lieutenant. Once again, this is going to help reach. This is a card that I think should have been a 2 of in that Vader list, but that's just my personal opinion. Viper Probe Droid, once again, knowing your opponent's hand, knowing what to play around is monumental. Death Trooper comes in, does something immediately. Yeah, for Power of the Dark Side, another great removal card. They actually main decked Make an Opening. So yeah, this is a -2/2 card on one of your opponent's units, and basically if they have 2 health, they're just gonna die immediately. They're gonna be defeated. More removal in the form of Open Fire. We have Cell Block Guard, another amazing card. Sentinel. Once again, like I said, I think those are going to be very important keywords moving forward. 3 takedown. So just going all out on the removal. So maxing out on all the removal cards, which is very, very strong. Imperial Interceptor. Very amazing space unit. If your opponent's playing into space, I mean, not a lot of things have more than 3 health, unless you're getting into the like that you play during that turn. Don't have that much. Gideon Hask, yeah, just really good. When defeated, give an experience token to one of your units. It's pretty good, and it's a 5/5, super duper strong. The Raider, when played and when defeated. So this card gets triple use. This card's absolutely pretty busted. So it has use when you play it. You're gonna deal 2 to a base, 2 to a unit, and it has 4/6. So it's gonna stick on the field, hopefully, as a space unit. And then when defeated, you're gonna do that 2 and 2 again. Count Dooku, Overwhelm. All right, and when played, you're gonna defeat a unit with 4 or less. So removal and a body, and he has Overwhelm. Another card that does about 3 things. Palpatine, Overwhelm as well. Of course, Palpatine has unlimited power, so don't forget that. That card's amazing. Yeah, you're going to do the Sprinkle for 6, and yeah, it's pretty good. All right, moving on to, actually, I don't have the statistics for this deck, so, but it looks like we're looking at mostly 2 drops, bunch of 3s. And then once again, these blue and red decks seem to be playing more 4 drops than we're used to seeing. Third or fourth place, I can't remember exactly what place they came in, but we're gonna do it because the last one's a really cool deck. I can't wait for you guys to see that one. But yeah, so we're gonna just say third place in air quotes was Astrotech's deck, piloted by somebody else. Once again, Astrotech, if you want to come on down to Seattle and play in our tournament over at Tabletop Village, come on down. Yeah, no, Astrotech's deck, everybody's seen it. Super strong deck. He actually has modified it since, but the pilot of this deck said that they were playing this version. I'm pretty sure. I asked him to send me a list, but he said it's Astrotech's deck, and I couldn't find the other one that I was looking for. Yeah, so 3 Greedo, amazing. 3/1, probably one of the best 1 drops. When defeated, mill an event, and you do 2 to a ground unit. Shoot first, I love this card. It pretty much gives the unit that you're attacking with a shield, and it gives it +1 attack. So, yeah, I mean, what's not to love about that? Cartel Spacer, if you control another yellow unit, I call it yellow, some people call it orange, whatever you want to call it. You can exhaust a enemy unit with 4 or less. And then No Good to Me Dead. This card is absolutely amazing. It puts things to sleep for 2 turns, pretty much, or freezes them in carbonite. Sorry. But yeah, I play Boba, so this is actually one of my favorite decks to play. Crafty Smuggler coming in with the shield, can't beat that. Easy, great for trading into other units. Period. Surprise Attack. This card is one of my favorite cards. It is a late game. I mean, it's as long as you have units on the field, it's going to be a late game, very effective card that's going to do an extra 3 damage and fixes a lot of math and can steal games out of nowhere. I know a lot of people have swapped this for the Seasoned Shore Trooper, but Viper Probe Droid's in here. Once again, this card's absolutely amazing just because having access to your opponent's hand is really good. We got the DJ Death Star himself, Super Laser Technician on the 1s and 2s. Literally on the 1s and 2s, okay. All right, anyway, sorry, that's very funny with me. Shout out to anybody who speaks DJ lingo. I don't, but yeah. Yeah, Super Laser Tech coming in. 3 resupply. There's no side deck. I know when I play this deck, sometimes resupply and some of these ground units are easy side outs, depending on what the matchup is. Yeah, and then 3 Boba, the Disintegrator, probably my favorite unit in the whole game. Everybody loves Vader. I love Boba. All right, 7 Fleet Defender. Similar to Crafty Smuggler, is going to come straight in with a shield. And both of these cards are really good to actually, like, if you have something early that you really need to deal with, and using the Energy Conversion Lab to shoot these out. And like I said, they come in shielded. Pretty much is a really good form of removal. We have 2 Waylay. I really like 2 Waylay. You don't really need 3. 2's pretty good. This card's super duper good to remove different units that are trying to be Voltroned up. So with a bunch of upgrades, just waylay it away. Overwhelming Barrage, one of the bombs in the deck, I guess you would say. as it really only has like 2 bombs for sure. But yeah, Overwhelming Barrage is, yeah, just one of the best cards in the game, giving unit +2, and you are going to be doing sprinkling whatever its attack is around the board, which means you're taking out a bunch of units. Steadfast Battalion, one of my favorite units to use ECL on, obviously. Bring it out. It has Overwhelm and on attack if you control your leader, if Boba Fett's out, which this is a 5. Boba comes out on 5. So if you're playing your cards right, then you are going to be ECLing out this Steadfast Battalion and swinging 7 at something and doing Overwhelm. One card that I am starting to think that I want to put at 2, just because there's a couple of... So Syndicate Lackeys is a card that I personally like. I don't know why I'm talking about my deck. If you want to check out my deck profile, it'll probably be on the end of this video. But yeah, Boss. We got Boss coming in at 3, which is amazing. It has Ambush, and when you play an event from your hand, you can do 2 to any unit. So you can do it in space, or you can do it on the ground. Next up, we have Fett's Fire Spray. I know I said Imperial Interceptor is the best space unit in the game, and it might be second to Fett's Fire Spray. This card just comes in readied since we have Boba or Jango. Can't wait to see Jango. And it also has an effect that no matter what, you don't have to rest it. So if it's rested or if it's unrested, you can exhaust a non-unique unit by paying 2 resources. Last up, we got the bombs, the real bombs, the Vaders. All right, this card, I guess it's pretty good, right? At 7 though, I really want to be playing like a 5. Like what's really good, right, is play a 5 in Bosk, for example, has Ambush, right? And then you play an event, and you're gonna deal 2 more to a unit. Yeah, I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. Vader's really good though. It can get Boba. It can get the Cartel Spacer. It can get the Viper Probe Droid. It can get the Super Laser Tech, and play them immediately to the field. But in my opinion, only one of those really gets a ton of value being played immediately, and that's going to be the Cartel Spacer. It doesn't really synergize too well with Vader if you're thinking about the late game board state, but I digress. I can't be talking about this. If you want to check out my deck profile, please do. And then we got the curve on here. Yeah, everybody's checked this out before. It's pretty basic. I mean, the deck's actually really good. So this deck is what you have all been waiting for, and this is going to be a Chewy deck that got top 4 in the tournament. They said that they were undefeated against Sabine and Leia. You know, just gotta let them know that right there. I think their only loss was to the Iden red deck, if I remember correctly. They got 2nd place. Yeah, those two are at the top 2 tables. And it's interesting how it plays out. It plays out basically, there's no resistance, but based on your wins and losses, you're going to be accruing points. So within your matches, a loss actually can be very detrimental to your placing in the tournament. But nonetheless, this Chewy deck is absolutely amazing. Shout out to Marcus and this deck. He has the Alliance Dispatcher, who's going to pay less to play units. He's got Restore. He's got the Luke's Lightsaber. We're going to be Voltroning things up. Battlefield Marine. Everybody says it's the best 2-drop in the game. We got Yoda to restore as we attack, and then when defeated, because they're going to want to deal with it because you're going to be healing from your base all the time, you're going to draw 2 cards. We got the Jedi Lightsaber, so a couple of upgrade units. So 4 in total, and we have some experience tokens coming out here and some experience tokens coming out here. So we are boosting things up. I take it we're going to be definitely boosting up this Chewy whenever it comes out. Make an opening. Blue just has amazing removal cards. I sound like a parrot at this point. We got Echo Base Defender. Once again, very important text on the card. That's going to be Sentinel. Consortium, Star Viper, really good in the aggro matchups and more heal. So this deck has 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that have Restore. 5 if you count Redemption. Redemption is bonkers if it can hit the field. And in a slower control deck like this, I guess you would say it's control, but this deck is definitely wanting to play a longer game. And yeah, something like Redemption hits the field and can swing the tide of the game. substantially. We got the Fleet Lieutenant, once again, one of those cards that seems to make its way into every competitive deck, whether it be Fleet Lieutenant, whether it be the, oh gosh, I can't remember the name, Snow Trooper Lieutenant, or the Surprise Attack. Yeah, surprise strike. Sorry, surprise strike. And whether it be any of those cards, they seem to be making their ways into decks because they're cards that, when played, have immediate effects that can affect the board state. Super important. Kanan Jarrus, a 4-drop, but a very amazing 4-drop. So these blue decks seem to love to play these 4-drops. Blue and red loves these 4-drops. Yellow likes to play. Yellow and red play a little lower to the ground. We have more removal, only 2 takedowns. We have Sentinel here, a 4/6 Sentinel, but this thing only has Sentinel while it's undamaged, so they can swing into it once and then kind of ignore it past that for the rest of the game. But it is swinging for 4 every turn, so yeah, that's pretty strong. Vanquished, another removal card. Traitorous, which is very interesting because I'm not sure taking units that are 3 or less is worth playing on your 5th resource, but hey, it seemed to work for this person, and that seemed to work for my boy Marcus, and that's pretty amazing. Obi-Wan coming out here and drawing cards and giving experience tokens to people whenever they're defeated, pretty darn good. And then we have our bomb here, Luke Skywalker. I don't want to say Luke's lightsaber just because I'm looking at the green lightsaber and it looks just epic. This card is one of my favorite cards as far as artwork goes, and just what's going on in there. It's just super duper amazing. And then we have Redemption. Like I said, I mean, revisiting Luke though. Luke has Restore 3. When played, you're going to give -6/6 to something, or -3/3 to something, and he comes in pretty much swinging that lightsaber, chopping foos down like he was doing in Mando Season 2. Against the Death Troopers. Sorry. I just love how thematic sometimes you can like make these cards. Redemption, which is, once again, it's a card that can swing the tides of a game. And then in the sideboard, it looks like they had another large ship and the Ewing reinforcements, which is a pretty strong card. So yeah, that was the top 4. Oh, one thing Marcus had on, make sure to head over to SwooDB. This is not a plug. I'm not sponsored or anything, but Marcus typed up a really nice description for their deck and his different matchups, his quote-unquote auto wins, his auto losses, and then the toss-ups. So yeah, shout out to Marcus for doing that. Thanks everybody for showing up, showing out. I'll see you guys at Tabletop Village this Sunday for a tournament, and yeah, peace.